Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Scully and Bob Spitz coming to you live from Drive. And today we've got a special guest, returning guest, as a matter of fact, Jeff Reitz from JAR Automotive in Kansas. How you doing today, Jeff?
Doing great. The sun's shining and it's not 105.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, you guys got blistered there last week.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, for being the mid-July, the fact that it's not 105 is remarkable. So, got a nice breeze blowing. We'll take it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
You betcha. You know, I wanted to ask you, Jeff, is the A in JAR for your wife?
Yes.
That's what I figured.
All
Yeah.
right. So we're going to do something special, but also familiar in a way. Jeff was on, what was it, about a year ago, maybe a little bit less?
I would say at least a year. I don't recall if we had closed on the building yet or not. And we actually purchased the new building in May of last year. So,
all right. So it's been about a year.
It's been about a year and a half. Yeah. I don't know that we had closed yet.
All right. So the last time you were on, you gave us a tour of your shop, the shop that you had at that time. And for everybody, to bring everyone up to date, you purchased a new shop, you've gotten it all set up and moved in. And so we're now going to get a tour of your new shop. And so everybody can see the change. And we'll post a link to the previous show with your tour, and then people can actually compare the two.
Yeah, looks like one of the things you were trying to accomplish is get rid of the shoehorn. Don't have to shoehorn things into the building anymore.
Well, that's the goal. Yeah. Trying to get stuff spread out a little bit more. We've got a lot more room, as you'll see here in a minute. Yeah, so our other facility was only 4,000 square foot. We had 4 two-post lifts with 4 technicians. So each technician had 1 lift. And then our 5th door had a little 1970s Hunter alignment rack. And so we've upgraded that as well. So you'll see all that here in just a moment.
Fantastic.
All right, well, go ahead and take us through.
Well,
it looks like you're starting out in the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm actually across the street here. So we were a block off of Main Street, and we are now right on North Main. I'm going to turn the camera around, and I'm going to show you across. So we are Main Street, McPherson, right next to, we've got a gym on one side, Wendy's on the other, a coffee shop. And then this is, I hope you can see it because I can't really see it on my phone here, but so we're actually attached to the Napa store. So the building that we purchased has the Napa store.
Yeah.
And they've been established in this building for, I don't know, 30 years, somewhere in the 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, somewhere that they've been established in this building. And the realtor said, hey, I found this nice big building. If you're interested in looking at it. And I said, well, that houses our Napa store. I'm afraid that'd be a conflict of interest. So I talked to the store owner and the manager and our Kansas City rep, and we all met over dinner and kind of hashed out a plan and said, it's not really a conflict of interest. It actually is a huge opportunity. And we go inside here in a moment. I'll show you why. So this building was originally, it was chopped up into 5 different rental units, including the Napa store, which they leased their 5,000 square foot from us. So we've got that as an income property on the premises. And then all of the other rental spaces, we gutted all of those. We removed all the walls. We opened everything up. I'll show you in the shop space shortly. I'm going to walk across Main Street here. In the shop space, there were several walls. There was actually a second floor. And then, hold on just a second. I'm going to see if I can adjust my camera just a little bit. I think it's set on like a wide angle. That's all right. There, if you guys can see that. So
yeah, we can see
this is kind of our front parking lot. Here's our front entrance. So we took all the walls out. I'll show you inside. There was some places where there was no insulation, and man, we just had it. My wife and I got to commend her. She helped me out with a lot of it. So, but yeah, Main Street, McPherson.
Oh, wow.
Holy cow, that's practically bigger than your whole previous shop.
Yeah.
It's about half of our old shop. Yeah. So this space right here is about 2,200 square foot.
Wow.
And that includes the new offices and everything. So we've got still got a couple of new chairs that just showed up the other day. COVID, everything's been on back order. We built a shop manager's office, who is currently up here covering lunch breaks right now.
Was this an old dealership?
So interestingly enough, turn this back around. So this was built in 1946, and it was a Ford dealership.
It looked
Is
like
what
a
the building was
dealership.
actually built for. And so there's a section in the back of the shop that I'll show you after a bit, where there was actually 6 in-ground lifts still in from the mid 40s. And we had to pull
Wow.
those out of the ground and cut the concrete out and put a new floor in and everything that goes along with that.
Wow. Did the EPA have to come in and check the dirt?
No, because they were in sealed concrete boxes.
Oh, they were good.
Oh,
So
good.
each of the lifts was sealed in a concrete box. They had trolleys where it would roll back and forth across the top of the concrete box. And then once we pulled all that scrap steel out, there was a bunch of oil that had leaked into that box, and we pumped all that out, backfilled with sand, and then sealed it on the top with the fresh concrete. So
Right. Great.
but we went
That's-
through all the appropriate channels, got all the appropriate permits, and had
Oh, yeah.
everything to that effect professionally done. My wife and I did all of the renovations as far as the removing walls, drywall, all of that kind of stuff. So my office,
Nice.
which has a
Great.
view to the shop space, and then coming out of my office, I will show you again. Of course, looking across our waiting area.
Fantastic.
So this right here, I got a couple of videos on Star.
So we've got still got some wall space to put up. We're going to put some banners and things up on here and some artwork type stuff. Put in a garage door. This is a double insulated garage door. One of the biggest changes that you'll notice in this shop compared to the other, and I don't know if it shows up on the video, but there's no shop noise up here in the
No,
front
I
office.
can
Area.
I can tell that it's
We've been
very it's very
listening.
quiet, which is it's amazing. We can hear him on the phone very clearly. That's pretty impressive.
And that is something that we really struggled with at the old shop. That was something where, because of the size of it and the front office being right in the center, anytime somebody would run an impact or anything, you could hear all the shop noise from the front. I mean, to the point that you almost couldn't be on the phone. You had to almost stop the conversation in order to talk to a customer. So
yeah,
this
I
was
saw
one of the
that.
advantages. We put this glass garage door. It's a double pane insulated garage door. We put that in, which helps to keep all that noise in the shop space.
Mhm.
And then this is our shop entrance here. The way we're laid out, we have our finished key box here. This is a lockbox with all of the keys that have already been looked at, and either they're waiting for approval or they're waiting for pickup. And then we have, of course, labels. Because we're on Main Street, we've got labels for where things are parked at. And then this is keys that are in process, anything that the technicians. So technicians will grab the keys from here. When they get finished with them, they'll put the keys over here. And then this is where they go back to the either to the customer, or if we approve additional work, then that goes back into the technician's lockbox.
Key box.
So we have a little hallway kind of here going to the shop. This is our break room. I still got to get some
Great.
cabinets in over there. We've got a TV that we're going to put up on the wall and get with a swivel mount. So we have a training TV over here.
So
Little
this is
storage
going to be a
closet type
training
of
room
thing.
also, correct?
Training room and break room. Yep.
Fantastic.
And a
Excellent.
little storage closet back there. We've got lockers for all the employees. I got 12 lockers in here. And we go into the shop space.
Oh, wow. It didn't look like that in the 40s.
No, not even close. So just to put it into a little bit of perspective for you guys, we're kind of L-shaped because of the Napa store. This wall here houses the Napa store. So we've got these 2 lifts along here, and then we've got an empty bay in the middle. And then we've got 3 lifts on this side. From this wall to that wall is 50 foot. Our other shop was a 50 by 80, and I've got about 86 foot from where I'm standing to the back wall. So we literally
Wow.
put our entire shop building in this room.
That's great.
That's amazing. That's
Got
You
some
know,
fleet work coming in here.
fantastic.
We used
So-
to have a joke at the old seminar, Jeff, that ideally your shop has a shared wall with the parts store and you just knock a hole in the wall so you can walk through.
I tell you what, it's a huge advantage, huge advantage. So this room here, there actually was a wall coming down from this beam, and then there was a wall coming down from this beam, and there was a second floor in between here, and there was a staircase that went up to it. And my wife and I did all the demolition there. And then everything from this beam forward was actually black. It was like a rent to own store with a showroom. And so I got a little airless paint sprayer from Harbor Freight for like $200 and sprayed everything. We cleaned the beams, painted the ceiling, the walls. painted all of it. So 65 gallons of white and gray paint.
Wow.
And then, so we've got technicians working. I got 3 more lifts back here.
And that's a
And then
center
we've got our
drain?
new 14,000 pound alignment rack. So we're
So
set
you
up for
can-
alignments and everything here as well.
How big of a truck can you put on there?
3/4 1-ton dualies. We've had a couple of 1-tons with hydraulic bale beds. Yeah, I mean, anything up to 14,000 pounds.
Fantastic.
Wow, that's
And
great.
it's 24 foot long or something like that. So,
And that's a drain in the middle of the floor?
yep. And this part back here, this was the original service center from the 40s from Ford. And so you can kind of see the color difference. So this is where we poured in all the fresh concrete. So this whole floor is new from here back to the wall. And the reason I was walking back here, there's a little bit of a parts room back here. We don't carry much in there. There was an old business back here, and that was kind of his office. As we continue to grow, I will have a parts guy specifically managing inventory in that area. But right now we don't quite have that need yet. And then
Not with
that's
the
the
parts
entrance
store
to
next
the,
door.
Parts store right there.
Oh,
So they
good.
come-
So there is a door to the parts store. Fantastic.
Yeah. So they said they wanted to put
That's
in a
great.
conveyor belt, but at least we've got a double doors. That's the next best thing.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
bet.
absolutely.
But yeah, having them, they come through the back of the store, which comes into the shop space. And so it kind of keeps it out of the front as well. That works out really good.
You going to expand your tire business?
We're working our way that direction.
I was just wondering with
So-
your showroom up there, if you were going to put
Well-
tires up there.
So here's the main major mechanical shop. I got 8 lifts in here plus the alignment rack. Then we enter this addition. Now we've got an addition on here. So we've got all of our bulk oil tanks. We now have 2 tire machines and balancers. This is our new tire machine right here.
Nice.
That's like the mother of all tire machines right there. It does the whole job for you. And then the fully digital balancers, you don't even have to measure the rim. It's all laser measured. We've got the 10,000 pound lift over here. We've got our tire rack sitting in the corner with all of our new tires stacked up, ready to go. Got Dalton over here doing some lube and oil. This is our preventative maintenance department. So this is a 24 by 60 foot lean-to that's got extra lifts in it just for lube and tire and all that. Here's our 12,000 pound lift. That's not quite a 12,000 pound car.
No, we hope not.
So all the plumbing, all the pumps, this area back here, I show you can kind of see, but we've got hose reels for each of these lifts with the self-metering heads. So they don't have to measure out the oil into buckets or anything. It's metered directly to the vehicle. And then we have that also pumped over into the major mechanical area. So although these guys still have to measure it, we have a central location with our oil drops for our primary fluids.
Great.
All the electrical's new. We redid the electrical in the whole building, put in these big ceiling fans. They're about 8.5 foot diameter fans. The exhaust ducting for removing fumes and stuff. We keep it air conditioned. So we have the exhaust ducting as well.
Boy, what a sell point for attracting technicians.
Right. So along with that, got one of the guys running an impact. He's running the air hammer there. So this is that beam I was telling you earlier where there was a wall, and this back section of the shop, I've got the camera turned around here now. So this whole back section of the shop, it had no insulation. In fact, the ceiling was just bare studs. And so over Thanksgiving week last year, my wife and I put all of the insulation in, over 4,000 square foot of insulation in the ceiling. And then her and my brother-in-law and another friend helped me with the drywall. We spent about 2.5 weeks putting all of the drywall on this whole ceiling back here. And we did that specifically because we wanted to make sure that we could air condition the building.
Yeah,
That's great.
absolutely. John, you know John Starkey from Hawaii, Jeff?
Say it again.
You know John Starkey from Hawaii?
I do.
Well, he's on and he's watching. He wants to know, how the heck did you pay for it?
Well, loans, bank loans. So we had set money aside for quite a while. We'd been looking at this for about 2 years before we actually found this property. I'm going to step into this kind of parts room here for a minute, so it's a little quieter. But we had been looking at a couple of different properties. and the pieces just didn't come together. It's like it just didn't fit. And then when we found this one, you know, as they say, everything happens for a reason. God has a plan in his own timing. So it really just all fell together, and it worked out. We ended up doing we ended up getting financing through the SBA, Small Business Administration. They've got a SBA 504 option. And so basically what that does is the SBA takes on 50% of the loan of the purchase amount. And that's the building, the equipment, the concrete, the electrical, everything, total renovations, the whole project. So they do 50%, the bank does 40%, and that only means that I have to inject 10%. So doing that on a 20-year note, interestingly enough, we were actually able to inject almost double. We were able to inject about 20%. But what we did is we went ahead and got reimbursed from the loan on that. So we actually got over $74,000 back at the end of the project for the work that we had done, so that we still have plenty of cash flow in the business.
Wow,
Excellent.
that's great. Well, you
That's
can really see the
fantastic.
planning that went into this.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. You know, I have a lot of people ask me, and they just recently wrote an article on kind of this move and the project, and there was an article that was out on Shop Owner Magazine, I think is published or is being published soon.
Yeah, I don't think it's
interesting. One
out
of the
yet.
questions that
It's
they
coming out.
asked, though,
It's coming out next month, I think.
is it? So
think.
one of the things that they asked was, you know, what have you learned throughout this project? And I'll tell you what, as I get older, one of the main things I learned is it's all right to hire stuff out.
Yeah, right.
A lot of the
You
work
don't
in
have
my
to
life
do
that I
everything
did-
yourself.
it's a great way to save costs, but man, I tell you what, I think I lost at least a couple pant sizes there last year. So starting to gain some of that back.
Yeah, I'm sure. So now the move isn't just about having a nice, pretty new facility, right? So let's talk numbers and the impact that your new shop is having on your business and your
Yeah,
profitability
and
all
your
of that.
forecasted growth.
Right.
Absolutely. So 4,000 square foot facility, we were turning through on averaging right around 100,000 a month total sales. And with the same employees, it took us several months to get additional employees. And I still only have 2 new guys, and they're both lube, tire, and PM. So that's one area that we've really grown in, is our preventative maintenance, because in the past I had 1 lube and tire guy and 1 lift, and the other major mechanical guys each had 1 lift. And that was a huge huge downside for having to put stuff together and fill the parking lot, just waiting for approvals or waiting for extra parts or whatever. I mean, just hugely inefficient. So I knew that there would be an increase, just given the technicians' extra service bays.
Right.
One thing I didn't fully anticipate with the sheer size of this building, it did take us a lot longer than I anticipated to really see that increase. Really the first 2 months, pretty much a solid 2 months of, hey, I know we have this, but we've moved. Where is it? Walking back and forth across the shop, just ironing out and changing things and rearranging the shop and stuff, just so that we weren't spending so much time literally walking back and forth across the shop. So there was a lot of time wasters there that we started to identify early on, but it really took a good 2 months till everything found its place, and we really started working like a well-oiled machine.
Sure.
So we had typically been doing around 100,000 a month with the same crew, with the extra lifts. After those first 2 months, we started pushing over 100,000 again, and we closed out June at 137.
There you
Great.
go.
So we just hired another preventive maintenance tech, and he started on Monday. He's doing really good. And so he's training right now with my original lube and tire tech, PM tech, who started with me a little over a year ago. And he is actually transitioning next week, by the end of next week, or about a week. Because the new guy, today's Friday, so the new guy's been with us for a week. So one more week of training, and then Jason's ready to move over and apprentice with my master tech. And that's going to make 4 major mechanical technicians, because he'll be an entry-level tech working with my master. I've got a B and C level technician, and then I've got 2 lube, tire, and PM, but I'm still looking to fill 2 more positions. So my goal is to have 2 guys on each lift. We've got it set up in the lube, tire, and PM, where preventative maintenance and oil changes, and they do all of our basic like 30-point inspections and stuff. So they do a lot of that kind of stuff as well. And then all of our fluid flushes and fuel induction cleanings and everything's done by them, tire repairs, tire installation, all that stuff. So those guys with 2 per lift can knock out a total PM, lube, oil, and filter and tire rotate typically in about 30 to 35 minutes with 2 guys on 1 inspection. And then we've really ironed out over here now on our digital inspection how to lay it out. So each technician has certain areas that they look at. And so it doesn't cut the time completely in half, but it's getting close. We're getting better all the time.
That's great.
Fantastic.
That's really
Well,
good.
I tell you, with a promoting for technicians with a new air conditioned shop, boy, I just get videos out and pictures and man.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
an ideal
And we
scene.
haven't actually added any personnel up front either. So right now, I mean, like I say, pushing 130, 140,000 a month, even just with the guys that we have, is keeping my 2 guys up front really busy. And I've got an interview actually right after this, 4 o'clock this afternoon, with a gal with some service advisor experience. And I've got another one coming in tomorrow morning that we're trying to add some office personnel as well.
Sure.
Great.
Oh, by the way,
So the
your
goal is to have
article,
about 12 employees. We should have 4 in the major mechanical, 4 in the lube and tire, 3 service advisors up front, and my shop manager. And, the goal is that, within about a year, hopefully that'll start to free me up and I can start, transition better
Stage 4.
into a more executive role. I'm working that direction, but I think, getting fully staffed will certainly help to solidify my executive role.
Oh, absolutely will.
By the way, your article is coming out next week, Carolyn said. So
Awesome.
we'll
coming up
all
quick.
look for that. Yeah.
All right. And I'm sure John will be contacting you because he says he's got a lot of other questions for you. So
Yeah, he wants to meet you at the
absolutely.
expo.
Reach out, man. That's what we're here for.
Just thought I'd relay that.
He wants to meet you at the expo.
Yeah, I've known John for a little while, but yeah, we met down there in Orlando face to face for the first time.
Yeah. So he'll definitely see you there. And we're getting close to our time. It's amazing how fast this half hour goes when we're doing something like this. I'm like, didn't we just start?
I know.
So you talked a little bit about your goals in terms of number of employees and all that. With this new facility, where do you see your shop going from here?
As far as like from a sales standpoint or like a total purchases standpoint?
Well, a little of both. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about
Or your
goals
business
to,
and
to
yeah.
get yourself to stage 4. What do you want to, where do you
Yeah,
see
and are you
yourself
going to
going?
expand your tire business?
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. And so a lot of the goal with this expansion was to try to tighten our schedule up so it's not out quite so far. We have historically always been 2 to 3 weeks out on major mechanical. What is interesting is as I continue to turn through more work, we're still 2 to 3 weeks out on major mechanical. Oil changes and tires and that kind of stuff that people need right away. We were a week to a week and a half out before. We've got that down to about 2 to 3 days. Somebody drops off with a tire repair. Now we have the ability to get it in almost on the spot. And as I continue to increase personnel back there in that area, that's really something that I see us taking full advantage of, is like tire repairs and tire replacement and being able to get that stuff done without an appointment, because nobody ever knows when you're going to blow a tire.
Right.
That's right.
When things like that happen or when you pick up a nail. So those are things that I really, for the sake of the customers and just taking care of the community, that's one of my biggest priorities. From a sales goal standpoint, obviously we have more than twice the space. We have 2.5 times the space. I don't want to get back to a situation where I have 1 lift per technician. And that's why I say, like, my vision is that I'll have 4 in the major mechanical and then 4 to 5 in the lube, tire, and PM area back there. We do have room. There's 1 additional bay. I didn't show you when I was back there because right now it's just got a bunch of stuff left over from the remodel, but there's 1 more bay that we can open up the wall and put a larger garage door in. And we've got room to add 1 more lift inside. Right now we're stacking our used tires back there, but I've got some chain link fencing that I've got a section outside marked off. I've just got to finish getting that anchored, get that fencing up, move our used tires out there. We don't have the need right now, but as we continue to grow, we do have room to add a 3rd lift in the PM department, with the potential then to put, 6 employees back there.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, you've got quite a bit of showroom space also. Any plans for it?
Yeah, that honestly, a lot of that was just the layout of the building. You know, the waiting area isn't where the money's at. You know, production's where the money's at.
That's right.
Right.
You know, it is nice to have customers come in and feel comfortable and have a nice open, airy, cool spot to hang out that's quiet, that's not in the middle of the shop space. They have more than just bar stools to sit on like we had at the other one. It's spread out enough that if you have a couple of different groups or families waiting, that they can spread out across the place, not be right on top of each other. We don't really have waiting customers, so a lot of the front office area or the front reception area is kind of wasted space to that effect. But you know, it's just kind of the layout of the building had. And I've looked at, we offer a lot of Kansas BG products. And so we really push a lot of the BG maintenance fluids and things like that, which is a nationwide company, but they're actually based right here in Kansas.
That's right.
And we sell a lot of their product, and there's not a lot of other places in town to get that. So I have talked to them about getting some displays and things to be like the BG supplier in our area. Several of the
Right.
shops do offer them with their services, but it's not something where people can walk in off the street and buy their products. And so I want to have that availability as well.
Great.
Okay, good. So a bit of a retail spot.
A little bit. I mean, we're attached to the store. So, you know, if the store doesn't have something, I don't want them to have to go to O'Reilly. If they can come to our side of the wall and grab it, why not?
Yeah.
It's a missed
All right.
opportunity, right? I always like to use it for
Absolutely.
a missed opportunity. If there's a missed
That's-
opportunity, it's time to grab that bull by the horn,
That's
Exactly.
right. Plug that hole.
right?
All right. Well, Jeff, we are officially out of time now. And thanks so much for the tour. Your shop looks great. And I wish you all the success.
Yeah,
Going
congratulations.
forward. Congratulations on what you've done so far. And for everybody tuning in, we will see you next week. And have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Good seeing you, Jeff.